of Michigan and the manager of the Governor's Awards program. Today is one of my favorite days of the year. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome everyone sitting before me in our new Heritage Hall facility, and also to say a special welcome to those joining us virtually watching the live stream online. Welcome. If you are an award recipient today, you know just how much of a team effort a successful preservation project must be. Without each person's skills and expertise, the project is never complete. I've come to learn that it is just the same with running an awards program. I am so lucky to be able to work with an exceptionally talented group of colleagues who each have contributed their own skills to making today's event a success. Thank you. I could stay up here for a long time, to describe just how meaningful it is to assemble a series of impactful preservation projects for us to recognize every year. But I think, especially if you're an award recipient, you have already heard too much from me. Emails back and forth, many emails. Nobody needs to hear anything else from me. So with no further delay, I'm pleased to introduce Jen Nelson, the Chief Operating Officer of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, to welcome you to today's program. Thank you, Jen.
Good morning, everyone. I see we all have smiles on our face. The sun is shining. It's so beautiful. Thank you, Nathan, and welcome, everyone. First things first, congratulations to those who are being recognized in today's ceremony. Your passion and hard work are inspirational and will have a tremendous impact on our state's future prosperity. I'd like to begin with a few thank yous to those that are joining us for today's ceremony or who have helped make today happen. Thank you to Governor Whitmer and Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist for their continued support for the importance of historic preservation. Thank you to our team at MEDC and the State Historic Preservation Office for making today's ceremony possible. Thank you to everyone who is taking time out of their busy schedules to participate in today's event, even all the way from the Keweenaw, about 10 hours from here. Especially the many elected officials who are joining us to recognize these impactful projects spanning communities across the state. We are proud to be together today in the new Heritage Hall to celebrate the 20th year of the state's Historic Preservation Office's Governor's Award program. Being together in this special facility built to celebrate the history of the Capitol helps to underscore for all of us how the places and landmarks within our communities define us collectively as Michiganders. At the MEDC, we work every day to support these kinds of places by developing vibrant and resilient communities where talent want to live and where businesses will want to be. And through our Pure Michigan tourism efforts, places where people will want to travel from around the world to explore. Historic preservation positively contributes to each of these important priorities. A critical part of those efforts is the kind of dedicated, passionate work that today's awardees have demonstrated through their commitment to Michigan's historic places, which help to make our communities attractive and special to us all. And as we continue working to make Michigan the #1 four-season state or province in North America, historic preservation efforts like those being recognized today will be absolutely vital for us to continue making Michigan a great place to live, work, visit, and play. Once again, congratulations to the projects and organizations being recognized today, including our state colleagues at the DNR and Michigan State Police. Your efforts over the years continue to make a difference for the future success of our great state of Michigan. Next, it is my privilege to introduce Michigan's Lieutenant Governor, Garland Gilchrist II, to say a few words.
Thank you, Jen. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. We are here to literally celebrate people getting awards. I think we should be happy about that. It's a good day. Yes, absolutely. It's a good day really for all four corners of Michigan, too. We have recipients here coming from Grand Rapids, from Hamtramck, from Keweenaw, from St. Clair County. The beautiful thing, and one of the reasons the governor and I really appreciate this particular exercise, is because it's a testament both to Michigan's past and Michigan's future. Both of them are rich. Both of them are inclusive. Both of them include opportunities for everyone to thrive, to see themselves represented, and also to dream, to aspire to do amazing things, to reconnect and to connect anew. And so I really want to thank everyone who makes this possible and has made this possible for the last 20 years, the Historic Preservation Review Board, the MEDC team, the whole Historic Preservation Office, all the advocates for these projects. These projects don't just happen. They're the result of collaboration, partnership, of connection, of relationship. And ultimately, I think that's what the best of Michigan is. We come together to support and celebrate one another. We come together to invest in one another. And when these investments bear fruit like this, then we all get to enjoy them. We all get to learn more about one another. And that's what's really special. History is something that's personal to me, but I think all of us have stories about things that we have learned and appreciate about different parts of the state of Michigan. Having a big state where, yes, you can drive for 10 hours, you can drive for 18 hours and still be in Michigan. I've done it. That just means there is a lot to take in and a lot to be inspired by. And so, I'm proud to have participated multiple times in the presentation of these awards, because it's a great opportunity to say thank you. I also do want to take a moment to recognize that we have several of our state's conservation officers in the Department of Natural Resources here. I hope we could acknowledge them and thank them for their service to the state of Michigan. Our conservation officers are historic in their own right as the longest serving law enforcement professionals in the state of Michigan. It was the first sanctioned law enforcement agency in our state. So and around every corner, in every room, and every opportunity, there's a time to take something new in, to learn something new about the history of our communities in the state of Michigan. And so I hope when people come and celebrate and experience these 4 projects, that they will just really think about the history that they can make, the things that they can build, and what we can create together. So thank you so much for participating in this. Congratulations to all the award recipients who truly do stand tall for the great state of Michigan. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Right, welcome to you, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist. I think he might have left the room now, but I appreciate those kind remarks. My name is Martha McFarlane Fays. I'm the Deputy State Historic Preservation Officer, Acting State Historic Preservation Officer for the state of Michigan. I am so honored to be here. Jen Nelson reminded us it's 20 years. My son was in a stroller the first time I came to a governor's award, so it's really the time passing has I'm certainly reflecting on that today. But we have accomplished so much with these awards and recognized all of the fantastic projects and great preservation work that is occurring in the state of Michigan, and that's something we should all be proud of. So to begin my remarks, we are pleased to be celebrating our annual awards program in this new venue this year for the first time in Heritage Hall. And this was specifically designed to highlight our stunning state capitol and its long and rich history. While we celebrate our awards in this room today, you hear other voices, and particularly little voices around you, because among the many uses of Heritage Hall, it's the starting point for all elementary school field trips that come to tour the Capitol building and learn about its history. We don't recommend Governor's Award candidates based on a particular theme, but sometimes a theme just kind of comes together. And a good descriptive phrase for this year's group of recipients would be long-term commitment. Each of today's awarded projects embody a vision which took years to come together. Now, history is not always pretty. Several of these properties overcame chapters of disinvestment and vandalism before they were transformed into the impactful community landmarks we recognize today. Seeing the potential and researching this history are important steps to the final successful product. As we will see, forging partnerships is often essential to making a historic preservation project work. The end result brings us places we celebrate in our communities, boosts local economic activity, and helps us learn about our shared past. One of the most common questions that we receive at the SHPO is, do you have money to help my project? It's number one, I can tell you that. While we can't always say yes, each of today's recipients used a different funding mix, including preservation resources, to bring their projects to fruition. In Hamtramck, over $500,000 was awarded from the competitive African American Civil Rights Grant Program from the National Park Service. Today's Grand Rapids project utilized federal historic preservation tax credits, one of the staple financial incentive programs used across the state. Calumet was recently awarded a $100,000 grant from our office as part of the Resilient Lakeshore Heritage Program to help stabilize a historic downtown building. And as for the Lake Huron project, while the State Historic Preservation Office provides expertise and leadership on preservation activities, we recognize other state agencies that play a vital role in caring for our cultural resources. In a moment, we will announce the 20th Annual Governor's Awards for Historic Preservation. But first, we are pleased that Gary Peters, U.S. Senator from Michigan, took a moment to offer some congratulatory remarks by video, which we will now see.
Hello, I'm U.S. Senator Gary Peters, and welcome to the 20th Annual Historic Preservation Award Ceremony. Thank you to the MEDC and State Historic Preservation Office for bringing together so many folks to celebrate the outstanding achievements and contributions that these awardees have made to protect our state's rich history and cultural resources. Please know you have my full support in the U.S. to continue this vital work for future generations of Michiganders and Americans to experience and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Peters, for taking a moment to recognize today's awardees. Now, before we begin, I thought I would let everyone know how we will proceed this morning. I will introduce a short video about each project narrated by a member of the SHPO staff. When the video ends, I will invite the legislators present for that award to step forward to make their own brief remarks, and then I will call the recipients up to receive their awards. Then we will all gather together and smile for a few photos. Okay, let's go ahead and start with today's first award. Drum roll. Today's first award will be introduced by Todd Walsh, the National Register of Historic Places Coordinator with the State Historic Preservation Office.
In the early 20th century, professional baseball was segregated. When the Negro National League was founded in 1920, one of its 8 charter teams was the Detroit Stars. A fire in 1929 damaged the team's park, so the owner began construction on a new stadium in Hamtramck that opened the following year. Various iterations of a Detroit Negro League team played at Hamtramck Stadium until 1937. The field continued to be used by local, high school, and Little League teams, but eventually use of the stadium declined and it was fenced off after falling into extreme disrepair. The stadium was listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 2012, kickstarting the formation of the nonprofit Friends of Historic Hamtramck Stadium Group, with the mission to return it to use while honoring the history of Negro League baseball. The rehabilitation effort was substantial. The original grandstand steel structure and roof were completely rehabilitated, and the seating and ramps were reconstructed. Much of the work to the field met the specifications used by minor league baseball teams. Numerous local and federal partners contributed to the effort, including funds from the Community Development Block Grant Program, the Public Spaces Community Places Crowdfunding Match Program, the National Park Service, and several foundations. Wayne County acted as the developer for the $2.6 million project. The transformation concluded in June 2022 with a dedication ceremony and a Juneteenth Negro Leagues tribute game. Players wore custom-made Detroit Stars uniforms and played the first game on Norman Turkey Stearns Field, named for the Hall of Fame outfielder who called Detroit home. Hamtramck Stadium's rehabilitated grandstand and restored field are now a regional destination and a thriving community recreational resource, giving new life to its place in baseball history.
Our Representative Abraham Ayash, Deputy Wayne County Executive Assad Turfy, and Emily Wynn, Legislative Director for Senator Stephanie Chan, present. You want to come up and say a few words? Sure. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you to Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, the MEDC. Definitely, this was a project that was very dear to the County Executive Warren Evans's heart and many of our staff. And we have two of our staff members here, Tuesday Redmond, Stephanie Case. Can you guys just stand up and just be recognized? Because these are the two that really worked on the project. So they're the ones that do the work and I get the credit, right? I guess that's the way it works, right? So, but this was definitely a great project. History is something that is important to me. I know to many people, especially to the county executive. Sometimes we gotta look back. And when I started in government over 20 years ago, I was pretty much right out of high school. I never appreciated stuff like that. And as you get older and you live through life and through experiences, you start to look back and you realize, to really understand how to go forward, you got to really kind of look at the past and figure it out and how to be more welcoming. And at Wayne County, we're a welcoming county, and we want to ensure that we look at projects like this. And it really made us all feel good. I was there last spring when we were, I see Senator Scott back there and Abe, and we were all there together, and it was definitely a good time. So thank you to the MEDC. We appreciate you guys, and really looking forward to hear the other historic awards that we're giving some awards. So thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Abraham Ayash, lifelong Hamtramck resident and state representative for the 9th District. I also have the honor of serving as the majority floor leader in the Michigan House. It's about damn time. I grew up playing baseball at Veterans Park and Hamtramck Stadium, and I'll tell you two facts. One, I was not very good, but two, I did play baseball. So those are indisputable facts as we talk about this stadium. But this is an important piece of history, not only for Hamtramck or Michigan, but the United States. We know how the Negro League baseballers sort of come to fruition. It's out of a result of exclusion throughout American history. And one of the things that I think is important for us to reconcile with is America, for all her hopes, also has some horror. And that horror has to be addressed in a way where we see how did people remain resilient. And it was through the Negro League Stadium that they were able to build some of that resiliency and find a space for them in an America that for too long said they did not belong, that for too long said you did not deserve to round third base to go home. So we are incredibly excited that Hamtramck will finally get this designation so that the kids that today play cricket, ironically, or still some of them play baseball, that those folks are still going to be able to stand in front of or behind the stadium and recognize that there was a rich history right in their own backyards, that there was a story of people like Turkey Stearns. There was a story like people like Representative Scott's great uncle, right? These are the folks that played in that stadium, that organized so that they too can get a slice of that American sport that not many people understand, but is still one of the greatest ones that you can play and enjoy. So with that, I want to thank the governor's team, the MEDC, and I want to acknowledge my colleague, Representative Helena Scott, who is in my neighboring district, who has deep interest in the Negro League Stadium. Like I said, she has family that worked in it. I believe she has a nephew who's getting an award. Right. But somebody's get. That's what it was. Okay. She was telling me some facts earlier in the week, and, you know, I try to pretend to listen to my colleagues occasionally. But thank you to the MEDC. Thank you for this incredible honor. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the organizers who did the work of making this a priority and letting people know. I had no idea growing up, and I could, if I had to guess, 95% of Hamtramck, Black, white, Arab, Bengali, had no clue that this was there. So for the organizers, I just want you guys to stand, please, for a brief moment. We got to give them a round of applause, because we wouldn't get here without them. With that, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Do we have any other speakers? All right. One more? Emily? This is Emily Nguyen. Thank you.
Hi. We're very sorry Senator Chan couldn't be here today, but she did want to pass along her words on celebrating this historic award that the stadium was awarded. And she's so excited that the stadium has been refunctioned and will be used by the community and many other members. And she's excited to visit herself. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, would the following people please step forward to receive their award for this fantastic project? Gary Gillette, founder of the Friends of Historic Hamtramck Stadium. Assad Turfi, Deputy County Executive of Wayne County. Brian Powers, Project Architect at Smith Group. Mike Chaudhry, President and CEO of DMC Consultants Incorporated. Congratulations. So I think we're going to do some pictures. Shall we gather by the sign here maybe? Yeah, on either side. I think we could just like that. Can you get everybody?
Yes.
Congratulations, everyone. All right, our next award will be introduced by Alan Higgins, Grants Manager with the State Historic Preservation Office.
Calumet was first settled in 1864 when copper was located in the area. For generations, the Keweenaw Peninsula rode the fortunes of the copper industry. During the 1870s, the Calumet area mined more than half of the copper in the nation, which brought immigrants and people from across the country. But the good times did not last. After labor strikes, the Great Depression, and decreasing demand, the last mine closed in 1968. The legacy of prosperous times was etched in the village's buildings. Downtown streets were full of sturdy storefronts, many built of brick and Jacobsville sandstone. A well-appointed theater anchored one end of the downtown, and several large churches stood out in the skyline. Tourism became an important part of the economy, but many empty buildings remained. Only limited revitalization took place in fits and starts. In 2016, the Keweenaw Economic Development Alliance brought together a group of stakeholders to find solutions to the ongoing issues of blight and demolition by neglect. Recognizing it would literally take a village to make a difference, the collaborative effort known as Bring Back Calumet was born. This ongoing project grew from updating blight enforcement ordinances to hosting volunteer-based, community-supported historic building preservation efforts, and assisting developers with packaging facade and whole building renovation projects. Over $8 million of public and private investment has been made so far. The project has inspired more investment in Calumet, including 10 building rehabilitations completed or underway, with 3 more planned. At least 4 new businesses opened, and at least 6 historic buildings acquired and stabilized. The effort has motivated the village to participate in the Redevelopment Ready Communities program with positive results, and has strengthened the relationship with Keweenaw National Historical Park more than ever before.
Thank you. Our Senator Ed McBroom and State Rep Greg Markinen present.
Good morning. I'm State Representative Greg Markinen, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure of representing the largest district in the state, the 110th District, and welcome everyone here today. This is an incredible moment. I could spend the whole day talking about Calumet. Early Finnish immigrants called the Keweenaw the Kuperisari, or the Copper Island. And Calumet Village today is part of the Keweenaw Historical National Park. So that's how significant this area is. And it just goes on and on and on. We have a wonderful delegation here today to accept the award. I get very emotional talking about Calumet because it's so special for the whole Keweenaw. And it's a wonderful place. And I invite everyone to make a trip to Calumet, have a pasty, walk down the streets of Calumet, and experience the history of 29 different immigrant newspapers being published in 1900 in Calumet. Imagine that, 29 different ethnic newspapers. There was a train every 5 to 10 minutes coming into Calumet, bringing immigrants to the copper mines, to the timber, to the woods, to work in the businesses. Calumet even had a Chinese laundromat. That's how diverse this community was. So I want to thank all the agencies involved with this award. It's greatly appreciated. And I'd like to introduce the state senator for the UP, Ed McBroom.
Thank you, and thanks, Representative Markinen. Greg, as you can tell, lives very close by to Calumet, and it's something it's emotional for both of us, but especially for Greg, because so much of his time is spent there. I have the largest district in the whole state for either chamber, having the whole UP, and I get all over the place. And I can tell you that wherever you are in Michigan, there is no other town that matches Calumet except possibly Detroit for historic architecture, for the style of buildings, for the age of buildings, and for the density of them. Calumet is truly a remarkable place. It's, as Greg mentioned, the heritage that put Calumet on the map almost made it our state capital at one point. It put it in the running with several other communities. And it has an opera house that John Philip Sousa brought his band and performed. That's how significant Calumet was to the state of Michigan. In the early years when Michigan was nearly bankrupt, time after time, year after year, because of bad budgeting decisions, which don't happen anymore, it was Calumet and the Upper Peninsula that bailed this state out over and over again. And yet about what we got back in the budget usually was about $4,000. And so they approved roads, but they never sent any money for them. We had to build them ourselves. And Calumet led the way in that for almost a century. And so come to Calumet, don't just get a pasty, buy some copper, support the industry. We want to see it come back, but come and enjoy everything that it has to offer. Thank you for this award, for helping us restore some of this cultural heritage and the remarkable architecture before it's lost forever. We appreciate it.
Don't go away yet. We'll have pictures. So U.S. Representative Jack Bergman is unable to attend in person today, but recorded a special congratulatory video, which we will now see.
Hello, I'm Jack Bergman, and I'm proud to represent Michigan's 1st Congressional District in Congress. Thank you all for being here today. I send my regards from Washington and regret that I can't join you, but I trust that you'll have a great event for the Michigan State Historic Preservation Awards. If we don't revere our history, we'll forget it. And forgetting it means losing those special qualities and values that have made us who we are. To all of you who have played a part in preserving property, the arts and humanities, economic assets, and other historically significant elements of the Great Lakes State, I thank you. The Bring Back Calumet initiative is certainly deserving of this award for the ways that it has revitalized and reaffirmed the importance of the community to the Upper Peninsula and Michigan. Since 1864, Calumet has been a place of economic and cultural vibrance. Those who undertook this initiative have given new life to the historic facades of Calumet and have helped erase the blight that hid the history and the beauty of the area. These renovations and individual projects will now ensure future generations can also appreciate and cherish the role that Calumet has played in growing our state and the country's economy. It is incumbent upon all of us to look to the past for a clear vision of our future. Our values of faith, family, and freedom are rooted in our state and our nation's founding, and those things are worthy of protecting for posterity. I would like to extend my sincere congratulations to those who participated in the Bring Back Calumet initiative, as well as all the recipients of the Governor's Award for Historic Preservation. Thank you. God bless you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Representative Bergman. All right. Would the following people please step forward to receive their award? Jeff Ratcliffe, Executive Director of Keweenaw Economic Development Alliance. Megan Hasselden, Village Manager of the Village of Calumet. Leah Polzing, Chair of the Calumet Downtown Development Authority and Executive Director of Main Street Calumet. Windeth Davis, Superintendent of the Keweenaw National Historical Park. Also receiving an award today, but unable to join us, are the Houghton County Land Bank Authority and the Keweenaw National Historical Park Advisory Commission. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations. Why don't we gather around this picture here for some photos? Thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Our next award will be introduced by Mara Lancaster, our historical architect with the State Historic Preservation Office.
Eastern Elementary School opened in 1929 as one of the first school buildings designed for children with disabilities. Large windows provided fresh air and sunlight. Wide ramps accommodated movement. And physiotherapy rooms provided new opportunities for students who would have otherwise been left behind because of physical limitations. The building was used as a school by various educational entities until 2008. The school anchored the neighborhood it served. When it was left vacant after closing, neighbors grew concerned about the future of the building. ICCF Community Homes, a Grand Rapids-based nonprofit, purchased Eastern Elementary in 2015 with goals to preserve the building and find a new purpose that would serve the community's needs. After engaging with residents, ICCF focused on a pilot initiative that would create missing middle housing alongside affordable units. The $15 million adaptive reuse project, completed in 2021, utilized low-income housing and federal historic preservation tax credits, and received a $3.5 million Community Revitalization Program award from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, among other financing. The extensive rehabilitation work took care to preserve and restore the unique architectural elements of the building, including the wide ramps, hallways, and tall banks of windows. The result was a facility with 50 income-based housing units and social services office space. A portion of the housing units are leased to individuals with disabilities who are able to live independently, giving continued meaning to the original design features of the building. The school gymnasium was restored to serve as a meeting space for community events, a gathering space for residents, and a home for a neighborhood-based church. Transformed into Emerald Flats Apartments, the former Eastern Elementary School once again contributes to its Grand Rapids neighborhood.
Our Senator Mark Huizenga and Representative Rachel Hood present.
Thank you. Hello and good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I'm State Representative Rachel Hood. I serve the newly drawn 81st House District on the northeast side of Grand Rapids, reaching into the suburbs as well, and I'm proud to be here today. I just want to maybe zoom back from Emerald Flats for a moment and thank you for your work in the context of really a national movement, a global movement to make great places and to preserve wonderful buildings that carry forward and deliver our stories to future generations and help us to celebrate places. I'm an environmental activist turned legislator, and for my career, I've really focused on taking the Rust Belt that Michigan has been known for and creating an emerald chain of blue and green energy to help fuel Michigan forward. I understand that we will be a place, a refuge for individuals seeking new, safe homes as our climate changes and as our world changes. Michigan will be renewed. And all of you play an incredible part in doing that work, in reversing decades of disinvestment and really signaling to our local communities, to the state, to the nation that Michigan is back on track. And I appreciate your work for those reasons. Capturing the energy that is inherent in these historic buildings and these historic places, recycling them for future generations is one of the greatest acts of climate activism that you could contribute to your communities and to our state. And I appreciate you for that. We've been busy doing just that in Grand Rapids, and it's one of the many reasons why I decided to call it home. Moved there in 2020 from the Metro Detroit area. I literally came to Grand Rapids for an event, Blues on the Mall, and stood at what is now Rosa Parks Circle and saw how Grand Rapids had intentionally preserved buildings and literally had them reflected in the newer glass buildings around them. And it was just such a beautiful moment that really captured my heart and caused me to stay in a community that valued its past and understood the role of the past in its future. I have learned much about historic preservation from dear friends who've been part of the Historic Preservation Network in Grand Rapids, and they have helped me to understand the important environmental benefits of maintaining these buildings and passing them forward. The Emerald Flats is, of course, a wonderful example of that great work. And when Eastern Elementary closed in 2008, the city of Grand Rapids, as was mentioned in the video, the neighborhood in Highland Park, not your Highland Park, but ours, lost an institution and a center of vital community activity. I'm thankful for ICCF, who have restored not only this building, but many buildings across the community, and also for the partners who regularly come along beside them, but especially in the context of this project, MISHDA and MEDC have helped to bring new life to this gorgeous historic school building,
renewing not just the building, but also contributing to the sense of place in the community in Highland Park and restoring that neighborhood connectivity, that weaving, that fabric that makes us all whole when we come home to our neighborhoods, and helps us connect with our neighbors. The project has also met an urgent need for more income-based housing, supported with social services that help guide people towards success. And my goodness, I just can't imagine anything more beautiful than all of the bits and pieces of this great facility in our community pulling together to make people whole and support them forward. I am proud to be a member of a community that once again has come together to create something that will benefit all of us. Thank you again to ICCF, MISHDA, and MEDC, as well as Oasis Community of West Michigan, and all those involved in their dedicated work to deliver this fantastic project over the past several years. I'll pass it to my colleague, Senator Mark Huizenga.
Thank you, Representative. This is a really tremendous project. And if you go back and listen to that video, it talks about that project was originally designed to support victims of polio in the epidemic in the 20s. One of the first buildings designed to stand for people with disabilities. And I stand before you in awe of the real incredible transformation that occurred there. Transformation is a word that's used probably too haphazardly these days, but I can tell you honestly, having toured that facility, what an incredible transformation that's occurred there. Restorations of buildings that now provide affordable housing with Emerald Flats apartments, social services space, and a gathering space for the community of worship. That's truly what placemaking is all about. The Michigan Municipal League talks about that all the time. What is placemaking? And really transforming that space to a place that becomes a place for that community, for the people there, is what really matters. So I'm really grateful for the work that you've done there. I've toured the building and I'm certainly impressed with the final project. And if you saw the videos of like the small kitchens, this is first class. This is really, really well done. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm proud to represent this area, the senator for the 30th district. I'd like to say congratulations to all our stakeholders and congratulations to all who will benefit from this amazing structure. Thank you to the MEDC for recognizing historical preservation. Well, let's face it, these awards are terrific. They're really great. This is why we're here today. But in the end, the real winners are the people in our communities. So thank you for everyone for facilitating this, for helping to grow our communities, to make them a better, safer, and healthier place for everyone.
All right, would the following people please step forward to receive their awards? Jan Vanderwoord, Vice President of Real Estate Development and Management at ICCF Community Homes. Jan, is it Jan? Oh, excuse me, Jan, so I'm sorry. Kevin Osterhart, Principal of Concept Design Studio, Incorporated. Drew Sorensen, Senior Project Manager at Wolverine Building Group. Grace A.M. Smith, Principal of Design Smiths, and Steve Johnson, President of Oasis Community of West Michigan. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you and congratulations. All right. Last but definitely not least, our final award will be introduced by Sarah Surface Evans, Senior Archaeologist with the State Historic Preservation Office.
The Tuskegee Airmen were America's first Black military airmen serving bravely during World War II. Many graduates of the Tuskegee pilot program in Alabama came to Michigan for additional training before deployment to Europe. The 332nd Fighter Group trained at Selfridge Air Force Base near Mount Clemens and conducted regular training runs over eastern Michigan and Lake Huron. In April 1944, a P-39Q Era Cobra Red-tail airplane flown by 22-year-old Tuskegee Airman Lieutenant Frank Moody crashed in Lower Lake Huron on a training mission. Lieutenant Moody's body was quickly recovered, but the aircraft was not found. 70 years to the day after his crash, in 2014, the wreckage was discovered by divers David and Drew Losinski in about 30 feet of water. They contacted state maritime archaeologist Wayne Lasardi, who engaged volunteer and professional partners to document the site starting in 2015. These efforts involved high-definition underwater photography and mapping of the wreckage, which settled across 10 acres on the bottom of the lake. In 2018, the Tuskegee Airmen National Museum received a state permit to recover the aircraft, and eventually all of the wreckage will be mapped, recovered, conserved, and placed on exhibit in Detroit. The team effort has led to multiple positive outcomes. Documentation of the plane has led to a new recognition of the Tuskegee Airmen and to the creation of a special memorial in Port Huron to honor Lieutenant Moody in 2021. Dozens of presentations about the project have introduced military history and underwater archaeology to new audiences. Once fully conserved, artifacts recovered from the wreck, such as the wings, engine, tail, and cabin doors, will illustrate the significance of the site and its history for decades to come.
Is State Senator Dan Lowers present?
Well, welcome everybody, and I need to be brief because session starts in just a few minutes, so forgive me for speaking and leaving, but we've seen a lot of great projects here today, and they're all, they all have their place in Michigan, and they're all helping communities, but I got to tell you, this one's the coolest, isn't it? There are a lot of great things you get to do when you're a state senator, a lot of things you get to see, but I tell you, this is one of the most special things that I've ever been a part of because it's from my hometown area, and I don't know how many times I've probably been over the water where this plane's laying, and who knew? So what a fantastic thing! What a great way to bring recognition to the area, to the airmen, and to keep that memory alive. So thank you for everyone that contributed to this, the great work that was done, to recover this aircraft. Can't thank you enough. So, but I need to go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Senator Lowers. Representative Andrew Beeler is unable to join us today, but offers his congratulations. And U.S. Representative Lisa McLean is also unable to attend in person today, but recorded a special congratulatory video, which we will now see.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa McLean, and I am proud to represent Michigan's 9th District in Congress. I want to start off by saying congratulations to all the recipients of the Governor's Award for Historic Preservation. Your work to save and protect pieces of Michigan's history is incredible, and I am so thankful our state has people like you who genuinely care about preservation. But as the Congresswoman for Port Huron, I want to give a special shout out to the work that was done to document and recover an old red-tail aircraft that once belonged to the Tuskegee Airmen. Not only is this a piece of World War II history, it is also a piece of African American history that means so much to our state. So thank you for recovering and preserving this part of Michigan's past. Because of your work, generations will be able to look at this aircraft with pride and excitement. And again, congratulations to all the recipients being recognized today. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative McLean. Now, would the following people please step forward to receive their awards? Wayne Lusardi, maritime archaeologist with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Michael Fagan, lieutenant with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Law Enforcement Division, Great Lakes Enforcement Unit. Joel Kuhn, sergeant with the Michigan State Police Marine Services Team. Dr. Brian Smith, president of the Tuskegee Airmen National Museum. Luke Clyburn, president of the Noble Odyssey Foundation. And David Lazinski and Drew Lazinski. Congratulations. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Before I move on, I know that we would like to get everybody for the Calumet photo up here. So if Representative Markinen, Senator McBroom, if you could come back up, and the Calumet Award winners, if you would not mind coming back up. We wanted to make sure we got you all in a picture before you left. Signs. Sorry. Sorry, we should have done this before. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I think there we are. Thank you. I want to congratulate each of our recipients this morning and thank you all for coming. Standing here and watching these awards and watching the faces of the recipients, this is emotional for all of us. I think so many of these projects have deeply, deeply held personal meaning for all of you, and I can feel that. I think the room can feel that, and I think this has just been a wonderful event. And we are also honored to have legislators with us, and we thank them for making the time to participate today. Now, the press release announcing today's awards is going out this morning. We work fast. And online, the 4 new project sites are going to join all of our previous award recipients from across both peninsulas on the map of Governor's Awards projects. That will be on our SHPO website, which you can find online at michigan.gov/SHPO. Very simple. And Our office will be sharing photos of information about today's projects throughout the month of May because it is National Historic Preservation Month. And we'll be sharing this on our social media channels through Facebook and Twitter. We invite you to share this recognition on social media and tag SHPO as you promote the awards yourself. We also invite you to review the award board panels on either side of me while you are here today. And award site property owners, please take your award board with you when you depart. They are our gift for you and your award-winning property. Although some of you might have to fight over it, so you can figure that out. At the conclusion of today's program, we invite you to stay for a short reception, which will be here, and the reception is there. Refreshments are sponsored today by the Michigan Historic Preservation Network. MHPN, as we know it fondly, is the state's nonprofit preservation advocate and works closely with the SHPO on several initiatives. Each year in May, National Historic Preservation Month, they host Michigan's statewide Historic Preservation Conference. Now, this year's conference, please don't feel sorry for any of us, but it's going to be on Mackinac Island from May 11th to 13th. That's just next week. And the conference is a great opportunity to learn more about the field of historic preservation and other successful projects from around the state. You can learn more about MHPN. You can still register, I understand, for the conference and other efforts that they have as a group at the table in the back there, my far left, your right, and on the way to the food. So again, all of it's there, everything you could possibly want. So we would like to extend our special thanks today to several individuals attending today's event. Thanks to the legislators, again, who spoke today, or legislative aides who made time in their day to attend. To Eric Keller and Julian Sanders, who are attending today on behalf of Senator Gary Peters. To our federal partners from the National Park Service, including Seth Tinkham. Seth, where are you here? He's our grant management specialist. Hi, attending today from the Washington, D.C. office. I bet you didn't expect we'd call you out when you came here. Yeah. To the Whitmer and Gilchrist administration for their participation and support of today's event. And to each of today's recipients, I hope you are able to find creative ways to celebrate these awards in your community this summer and beyond. So let's give a round of applause to everybody. Now, finally, I promise this is my last page of notes. If you signed up to attend the guided tour of the state capitol when you registered for today's program, note that there will be a short break between the end of our reception and the start of the tour. So please reconvene at the Heritage Hall welcome desk outside these doors and up the stairs to the left for the start of the tour, which will begin promptly at 11:15. And I want to take the last moment here to recognize and thank some really important people who have not been up here at the podium today. Almost 24 people have contributed behind the scenes to making today's celebration a success. We would like to extend a special thank you to MEDC's marketing and communications team, Maggie. Maggie Cox, thank you. Digital team and events team, legislative relations, Gloria Carnicorn back there, thank you. Facilities and the executive office, Jen, thank you. Without them, today would not have been possible. I also want to give a special shout out to the State Historic Preservation Office staff, my colleagues who participated in today's awards program. And would you mind standing up, my dear colleagues, and especially Nathan, for organizing this. Thank you all. Thank you all. So thank you for joining us today. And on behalf of the State Historic Preservation Office and the state of Michigan, congratulations to everybody.